Actor, director, and former football player Carl Weathers has passed away. Weathers is best known for his roles in Rocky, Predator, and Happy Gilmore. Weathers' manager says he died peacefully in his home. He had recently turned 76 years old.
He's hooking. Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Don't give up. You know, you have to walk into every battle in your life, and every moment is a battle with some force.
So, when you think about the golden era of action figures lighting up the big screen, Carl Weathers always stood out as not just a powerhouse in the muscles department, but also one of the coolest and smartest dudes out there. I mean, the guy had a heart and brain as massive as those biceps, which, let's be real, were seriously impressive. Back in the day, he was right there in the mix of 1980s action cinema, rolling alongside and often teaming up with heavyweights like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before he became our beloved on-screen hero, Weathers was a linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, bringing that real-life toughness to the characters he portrayed. From duking it out with Rocky in the boxing ring to facing off against a menacing predator in the jungle, he carved his niche as a larger-than-life figure in celluloid. And hey, let's not forget he even found his way into the Star Wars universe later on in life. But here's the kicker. Despite all the success, some folks out there think Hollywood didn't give Weathers the roles he truly deserved. Yeah, you heard it right. There's this sentiment that he didn't quite make it to the top tier of actors like his buddies Stallone and Schwarzenegger did. It's like Hollywood didn't fully recognize the incredible talent he brought to the table. Now, after his unfortunate passing at the age of 76, there are whispers circulating that certain black actors are speaking up about this perceived betrayal by Hollywood. I mean, it's not the most shocking thing, right? Hollywood has a reputation for playing favorite, and anyone, no matter how talented, can end up feeling a bit betrayed in that glitzy world. So how did this icon like Carl Weathers end up feeling betrayed by Hollywood? Let's dive in. Now, despite being a total powerhouse in the acting game, the man was practically a success machine, starring in numerous films and TV shows that made everyone in the business a bit envious, especially fellow African-American actor. Some still argue that even with all his success, Weathers still didn't get the roles he truly deserved, maybe even getting sidelined by Hollywood for his white counterparts. Now, Carl wasn't one to back down from a challenge. He fought tooth and nail to make sure his voice was heard. And did you hear about the rocky road he faced just to become Apollo Creed? It's wild. In an interview with The Rich Eisen Show, he spilled the beans on how the studio initially wasn't too keen on bringing him into the Rocky franchise. Can you believe that? Even after he rocked the screen with his talent, they were like, nah, not interested. Who's this guy? So how did our man Carl win the part if the studio wasn't vibing with him? Here's the kicker. He straight up insulted Sylvester Stallone during their reading of the script. Yep, you heard it right. Weathers dropped a comment that was so Apollo Creed-esque that Stallone couldn't ignore it. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Stallone spilled the beans, saying Weathers' remark felt so authentic to the character that he just had to cast him. Carl spilled the beans, saying, "We read through the scene, and at the end of it, I didn't feel like it had really sailed, that the scene had sailed, and they were quiet, and there was this moment of awkwardness, I felt anyway. So I just blurted out, I could do a lot better if you got me a real actor to work with." He straight up dissed the star of the movie, Sylvester Stallone, without even realizing it. Now here's where it gets crazy. Stallone, being the mastermind behind the script, knew exactly how each character should come off on the screen. Instead of getting offended, he was pleased with Weathers' bold and arrogant responses. He thought, this dude is the perfect fit for Apollo Creed. So our man Carl unintentionally disrespected Rocky himself. But little did he know, that outburst was exactly what Stallone believed exemplified the swagger of Apollo Creed. It's one of those moments where mistakes actually work in your favor. Weathers' brash and bold attitude during the audition not only got him the gig, but also made him a star. He carried that swagger and confidence through the entire 1980s, becoming an action hero for those who looked more like him than his white counterparts. Now, another chapter of how Carl Weathers kicked down the doors of Hollywood discrimination was through the legendary movie Predator. This 1987 action horror flick was a whole different vibe from the Rocky series, but Weathers' character, Dylan, was still breaking norms for a black man in those times. You gotta appreciate how it all went down. In Predator, Weathers' Dylan wasn't just another sidekick or a token character. Nope, he was on the same level as the big man himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch. Picture this. Dylan and Dutch's greeting was basically the most testosterone-filled handshake in cinema history. That moment, which is now a meme sensation, was more than just a cool visual. It was a powerful statement, especially considering the late 1980s Hollywood scene.
You son of a
Let's put it into perspective. Schwarzenegger was the absolute king of the movie world back then, a former Mr. Universe, or as Weathers cheekily dubbed him on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson in 1988, Mr. Everything. And here's the kicker. Arnie rarely, if ever, found his match on screen. I mean, the dude lifted a tree trunk and carried it like a bag of groceries in Commando. But then came Predator, and director John McTiernan flipped the script. Weathers' character in Predator, Dylan, wasn't just there to play second fiddle. He got the same respect typically reserved for the action figures Schwarzenegger usually played. Even when Dylan loses the levitated arm wrestling match in that famous scene, the implication is that it's only because his new CIA desk job softened him up a little. It was like a cinematic revolution, breaking stereotypes and giving Weathers the spotlight he rightfully deserved. Predator turned into a game changer, proving that Weathers could stand toe-to-toe with the biggest star on the planet, both on and off screen. But here's the deal. Some folks are scratching their heads wondering why Weathers didn't become a top-tier black actor akin to the legendary Denzel. I mean, think about it. Weathers had the perfect launchpad with Rocky, he was good-looking, and charisma was practically oozing out of him. But even with all that, there's this lingering question of why he isn't in the same league as Denzel. Now, the debate is getting real. People are arguing that Denzel Washington is just a more skilled performer, hands down. One of the key points thrown in the mix is that Washington has hit the stage, putting in that raw, hardcore work as a performer that Weathers seemingly missed out on. And you know what? It shows. Then there's this talk about Denzel being a more appealing dude. I mean, let's be real, Denzel Washington had this broad appeal that attracted a massive fan base, especially among the ladies. No disrespect to Weathers, who's also a heartthrob, but some are arguing it's just not a fair competition between the two. And oh, there's the elephant in the room. Weathers' biggest starring film role, Action Jackson, didn't exactly set the box office on fire. If that had been a smash hit, the narrative might have been different, with Weathers possibly stepping into the shoes of the second-tier black action star that Louis Gossett was aging out of at the time. But alas, it underperformed, dropping Weathers back into supporting roles. On the flip side, Denzel Washington has been raking in economic success at the box office, maintaining A-list star status for over 25 years. The man's practically a Hollywood institution. Also, Carl did snag leading roles in the early 90s with syndication series like Street Justice and stepped in as the replacement for the ailing Howard Rollins on In the Heat of the Night. But here's the kicker. Neither of these gigs turned out to be the long-term TV love affair everyone was hoping for. And then, fast forward to the later part of his career, Weathers tried his hand at supporting roles in the sci-fi series Colony and the legal drama Chicago Justice. But, and it's a big but, these didn't exactly give his career the boost it needed, especially considering they came decades after Weathers hit his peak popularity. Now, let's compare this to Denzel Washington's TV game. The man's main television stint was nearly 4 decades ago in the hospital drama Saint Elsewhere. And here's the jaw-dropper, he never really made a full-fledged return to TV, except for occasional appearances in awards programs and some smooth narration work. So it's like comparing apples and oranges in the TV world for these two. Weathers took on a variety of roles, but the longevity and major success in the television realm didn't quite mirror his big screen triumphs. Meanwhile, Denzel dipped his toes in TV waters back in the day and pretty much stayed true to his movie star status without going all in on the small screen. Now, some folks argue that maybe Weathers arrived on the scene a tad too early. Back in the 70s and 80s, opportunities for African-American actors to headline star vehicles were kinda scarce. I mean, Denzel Washington really hit his stride towards the end of the 80s. Apart from Billy D. Williams, there wasn't a huge African-American movie star in that era. Even James Earl Jones, though respected, wasn't quite the big star. The exceptions might be Sidney Poitier, who snagged an Academy Award almost 2 decades earlier, but found himself in low-budget comedies by the 70s. Richard Pryor faced a similar predicament, and it was Eddie Murphy who finally broke the curse, proving that a diverse actor could carry a movie at the box office, especially in comedies. Now, here's where the Hollywood twist comes in. Comedies are generally way less expensive to produce than action films, and Murphy was already a big name from Saturday Night Live, so producers saw him as a lower financial risk. Hollywood being Hollywood, right? So despite Weathers' incredible talent, it's unfortunate that he was kinda an underrated actor in that era. But let's not dwell on the negatives, because Carl Weathers truly did his thing and left an indelible mark before his unfortunate passing. Now let's dive into his life and career. And trust me, this man's story is nothing short of incredible. Born on January 14, 1948, in New Orleans, Louisiana, Weathers had a humble upbringing with his father working as a day laborer. scorer. By 8th grade, he had already earned an athletic scholarship to St. Augustine High School, showcasing his versatility in sports such as boxing, football, gymnastics, judo, soccer, and wrestling. He even graduated proudly from Long Beach Poly High School in '66, where he excelled as a defensive end on the football field. Weathers started his college journey at Long Beach City College in 1966, but a pesky ankle injury sidelined him for the year. Despite the setback, he transferred to San Diego State University, becoming a standout letterman for the San Diego State Aztecs in '68 and '69. Under the guidance of legendary head coach Don Coryell, Weathers and his team achieved a remarkable 11-0 record, winning the 1969 Pasadena Bowl and securing a number 18 ranking in the final UPI poll. While thriving in football, Weathers harbored a passion for acting that dated back to his grade school days. At San Diego State, he pursued this interest and earned a master's degree in theater arts. This dual focus on football and acting set the stage for his future success in Hollywood. In 1970, Weathers, having gone undrafted, signed with the Oakland Raiders in the NFL. Transitioning from a defensive end to a linebacker, he played in 7 games for the Raiders, contributing to their AFC West Division title and their appearance in the inaugural AFC Championship game. This period marked the beginning of Carl Weathers' journey towards becoming a Hollywood legend. However, just before the 1971 season kicked off, Weathers made a pivotal decision that would alter the trajectory of his football career. Opting for a change, he shifted to the position of strong safety. This move marked a significant turning point in his journey on the gridiron. Yet despite this bold transition, Weathers found himself released by the Raiders in September 1971. The reason behind the decision, as explained by coach John Madden, was somewhat unexpected. "You're just too sensitive." Undeterred by the setback, Weathers quickly rebounded. In the same month of his release, he made his way to the Canadian Football League, CFL, and joined the BC Lions. Wearing the Lions jersey until 1973, Weathers contributed in a total of 13 games during his stint in the CFL. Intriguingly, during the off-seasons while making an impact on the football field, Weathers simultaneously pursued academic endeavors. He enrolled at San Francisco State University and, by 1974, earned himself a bachelor's degree in drama. As the year 1974 unfolded, Weathers decided to retire his football cleats, pivoting towards his other passion, acting. Little did he know that this shift would lead him straight to Hollywood stardom. Reflecting on his football career, Weathers accumulated 8 games over 2 NFL seasons, although he didn't amass any notable statistics. In the CFL, his contributions included a single fumble recovery. As time marched on, Weathers remained connected to the world of football. Notably, he took on the role of narrating NFL film season recaps for the years 1999, 2000, and 2001. In a delightful twist, he made a noteworthy appearance on NFL Network's pre-draft coverage during the 2017 NFL Draft, showcasing his enduring connection to the sport that played a significant role in shaping his earlier years. Carl Weathers didn't just confine his talents to the football field. He was also making waves in Hollywood. Starting as an extra, he juggled football games with movie sets before swiftly moving into more prominent roles. His friend Arthur Marks, who directed 2 blaxploitation films, Bucktown, 1975, and Friday Foster, 1975, played a pivotal role in putting Weathers on the cinematic map. Weathers also made noteworthy appearances on television, including a 1975 episode of the sitcom Good Times and a 1975 episode of Kung Fu titled The Brothers Kane. He showcased his acting chops in an episode of Canon titled The Hero. By 1976, Weathers delved into the crime drama genre, featuring as a lone shark in an episode of Starsky and Hutch, and portraying an elusive escaped convict, Jack Hopper, in an episode of Barnaby Jones titled The Bounty Hunter. The turning point in Weathers' acting career came in a bold move during the audition for the role of Apollo Creed in Rocky alongside Sylvester Stallone. Instead of playing it safe, he openly criticized Stallone's acting, a move that surprisingly secured him the iconic role. He went on to reprise the character in the next 3 Rocky films: Rocky 2 Inches, 1979, Rocky 3 Inches, 1982, and Rocky 4 Inches, 1985. In 1977, Weathers had a brief appearance as an Army MP in one of the versions of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a cameo in a Spielberg classic. The following year, he took on the role of Vince Sullivan in the TV movie Not This Time. This marked the beginning of Weathers' action-packed journey, with the late 70s and 80s seeing him become a go-to figure for action flicks. Notable titles include Force 10 from Navarone, 1978, where he showcased his skills both on TV and in theaters, solidifying his status as an action star. The 80s marked the pinnacle of Carl Weathers' career, where he showcased his versatility in various roles. In the 1987 sci-fi classic Predator, he faced off against an otherworldly predator, solidifying his status as an action star. Continuing his action-packed journey, he flexed his muscles in films like Action Jackson, 1988, and took on the challenge of a hurricane in Hurricane Smith, 1992. Adding an unexpected twist to his repertoire, Weathers hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live in 1988, proving he wasn't just a tough guy on screen, but also had the comedic chops to entertain a legendary show's audience. He made a memorable return to SNL in a skit in 2003. Weathers expanded his presence beyond the big screen, making a notable appearance in Michael Jackson's iconic Liberian Girl music video, adding flair to the King of Pop's visuals. His comedic talent shone through in the 1996 Adam Sandler comedy Happy Gilmore, where he played Chubbs, a golf legend teaching Happy the ropes. The role was so well received that he reprised it nearly 4 years later in Sandler's Little Nicky. However, the pursuit of his craft wasn't without challenges. While filming a fall stunt in Happy Gilmore, Weathers endured significant pain, fracturing 2 vertebrae. His osteophytes grew out, connected, and self-fused in an uncomfortable manner, causing him 3 to 4 years of excruciating pain. Despite the hardships, he persevered. Weathers also made his mark on the small screen, stepping into the role of Sergeant Adam Boudreau on the cop show Street Justice, where he laid down the law with style. Throughout his career, Carl Weathers proved to be more than just a big screen hero, showcasing his acting prowess, comedic skills, and resilience in the face of adversity. But there's more law enforcement action in the cards for Carl Weathers. In the last 2 seasons of In the Heat of the Night, 1992-1994, he assumes the role of Hampton Forbes, making significant strides as the chief of police after succeeding Bill Gillespie. This move adds another impressive badge to Weathers' TV resume. Additionally, he graces the screen as MACV SOG Colonel Brewster in the CBS series Tour of Duty. Fast forward to 2004, and Weathers undergoes a career shift, immersing himself in the world of comedy. This time around, he focuses on bringing laughter to his audience. Initially, he becomes a comedic sensation in 3 episodes of the hilarious series Arrested Development. What sets this apart is that he doesn't just play a character, he becomes a caricature of himself, portraying a frugal acting coach for Tobias Funke. The comedy journey doesn't conclude there. Weathers lands roles in the amusing films The Sasquatch Gang and The Comebacks, seemingly swapping his action hero cape for a comedian's mic and excelling at it. Just when you thought surprises were over, Weathers takes a guest role in 2 episodes of the intense series The Shield. Here, he steps into the shoes of the former training officer of the main character, Vic Mackey, adding a new layer to the gripping cop drama. Whether he's delivering justice on the streets, donning the chief's hat, or bringing laughter to audiences, Carl Weathers has proven that he's not a one-trick pony in the realm of television. His diverse roles showcase his ability to navigate various genres with skill and versatility. Carl Weathers played the role of Colonel Samuel Garrett in the video game Mercenaries: Playground of Destruction, developed by Pandemic Studios. In 2005, he took on the role of a narrator for Conquest: The Price of Victory, Witness the Journey of the Trojans, an 18-part television show focused on USC athletics. Outside of his acting career, Weathers served as a principal at Red Tide Media, a film and video production company specializing in creating tactical training films for the United States Armed Forces. During the finale season of the medical drama series ER in 2008, Weathers made a notable appearance in one of its episodes. Furthermore, he contributed to the Rocky film series, particularly in Rocky Balboa, 2006. Sylvester Stallone, the creator of the series, sought permission from Weathers, Mr. T, and Dolph Lundgren to use footage from their previous appearances in the Rocky films. While Mr. T and Lundgren agreed, Weathers expressed a desire for an actual role in the movie, despite his character having died in Rocky IV. Stallone declined, leading to Weathers withholding permission to use his image for flashbacks. Instead, the filmmakers opted to use footage of a similar-looking fighter. Despite this initial disagreement, Weathers and Stallone eventually reconciled their differences. This reconciliation paved the way for Weathers to allow the use of his footage from previous films in Creed, 2015, a continuation of the Rocky franchise. This turn of events highlighted the evolution of their professional relationship and the willingness of both parties to collaborate in the later years of the iconic film series. Carl Weathers took on the role of the father of characters played by Michael Strahan and Daryl Chill Mitchell in the 2009 Fox sitcom Brothers, which unfortunately had a short-lived run. Outside of his acting roles, Weathers ventured into advertising, portraying Brian Gebo Fitzgerald in commercials for Old Spice's sponsorship of NASCAR driver Tony Stewart. Additionally, he starred in a series of web-only advertisements for Credit Union of Washington, where he distributed flowers and shared the wisdom that change is beautiful with perplexed onlookers. Weathers also featured in commercials for Bud Light, presenting plays from the Bud Light playbook and concluding each ad by bursting through the playbook with a spirited, "Here we go." In 2019, Weathers made a notable return to the screen by portraying Greef Karga in multiple episodes of the first season of the Star Wars series The Mandalorian. His involvement continued into the second season, where he not only reprised his role, but also took on the role of a director for the episode Chapter 12, The Siege. This dual contribution showcased Weathers' versatility within the entertainment industry. He further extended his involvement into the third season, directing the episode Chapter 20, The Foundling. Weathers' standout performance in The Mandalorian earned him an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Guest Actor, underscoring his enduring impact and recognition in the television landscape. On February 1st, 2024, Carl Weathers passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 76 at his home in Los Angeles. Despite facing discrimination in the industry, he forged a remarkable legacy for himself. It sheds light on how Hollywood can be tough on people of color, a problem that has persisted from earlier times into today, affecting many actors. Despite these challenges, Carl Weathers made a lasting impact, proving his resilience and talent. While Hollywood's biases are evident, Weathers' legacy will endure. Feel free to share your favorite memories or thoughts about Carl Weathers in the comments. We'll catch you in the next video.